Hello everyone and welcome to my little corner of the internet. And guess what? I'm back. And it's been quite a while. I don't know exactly how long it's been since I've posted last, but it feels like an entire year. And first of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, no, I'm not dead. And third of all, no, I'm not retired or something. Retired from having a not even 200 sub YouTube channel. There's been a lot going on in my personal life and mental health wise and everything, emotionally, that's been going on this past year, and it's the reason why I haven't been posting. So I figured I'd make this video really quick. If you don't want to watch the whole video, basically it's just I've been figuring out a lot of stuff with my personal life, and I've come to a much better place recently to where I can start making videos again, I can start streaming again, all that good stuff. If you want a more in-depth discussion about all that stuff, that's what this video is about. I streamed it yesterday, and I'm basically taking that VOD. I'm just going to post it here for you guys. So feel free to watch it if you want to. And there'll be a part where I'm talking about what I want to do for this channel and what I want to do for Twitch. So if you're curious about those, feel free to skip directly to that part of the video. But I will be continuing to post on this channel. Good stuff. I love you guys, and thank you for your patience with me and on this channel, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Alrighty, bye-bye. As far as I can remember, last year I was cooking really hard with FNAF and everything. As you guys know, I like FNAF, big shocker. I have a bunch of shelves here you can't see, but it's full of FNAF. I have the Funko Pops here. I'm still need of the new side. I still need to get more. I like FNAF, right? I was playing it a lot last year. We were gearing up for a marathon. I did a marathon in September, August. Was it September? I think it was September, something like that. But a year ago, we did a marathon, right? It was a lot of prep time for it. It was awesome. I love doing that. Super hype, really cool. We'll come back to that because I do want to keep doing marathons. Just don't know when, but I have weekends now, so I can do them here and there. But we did the marathon. Then in October, the whole month of October, I streamed every day for a couple hours, an hour to 2 hours, and then. Yeah, that's the surprise. We're doing a marathon right now, actually, guys. Walk in. And in October, I streamed every day, and then I was posting every day as well on YouTube, which was really fun. I could do that because I was still unemployed. I was unemployed. I had a lot of time on my hands to do that kind of thing. And I loved it. I really did love it. I still do. It's just I'm not able to keep up that speed anymore, right? But what I wasn't planning for at the end of that month, after I finished that, and I got a job right at the end of the month as well. So I started my job. I just finished doing a month of just like really hard and fast content, something I never tried before. I enjoyed it, but there was the side effect that I never really experienced before, which was burnout. And no, this whole speech isn't going to be like, oh guys, I'm burnt out, I'm retiring. So it's not like one of those videos. I'm not doing a freaking YouTuber, I'm burnt out and I'm quitting type thing right now. Nor am I pulling out a ukulele and doing a weird apology video. So at least we're not doing that kind of thing. But I did experience burnout for the first time in regards to making content. I've been trying to make content. I've loved doing it since I was freaking 16 years old. That's when I first started actually engaging with the internet. And that's also when I first started making videos. I wasn't really online before I was 16, honestly, like at all. I just wasn't online. The most I was for Webkinz when I was a kid. So there wasn't really any like prep, or like going off of other people and learning like how to avoid burnout and all that stuff when I started making things. I had the CNC cooking channel that I did with my cousin for a while. I tested out doing faceless content on there. I tried doing like that 8-bit style of stuff, which was fun. But it really wasn't for me. It didn't really hit home after a while there. But I started streaming after that, which you guys know. I'm coming up on 4 years, I believe. It's 4 years now. In March. It's pretty cool. Been streaming for 3.5 years. And I'm not doing the YouTube apology video starts. Exactly. We're avoiding that here. But streaming for 3.5 years now. At the time of doing the marathon and everything, it was 2.5 years. Just streaming consistently every couple days. I would take breaks here and there, but I kept streaming. The burnout got super heavy. It hit super hard. I think it was already coming, and I wasn't taking the appropriate measures to avoid burnout. I wasn't like limiting myself as much as I should have, which was evident by how hard I was escalating when I hit the marathon, then all the stuff in October. It just completely like destroyed like any sense of motivation I had afterwards, because I was spending, now I had like 8.5, 9 hours I'm spending at a job, which that time is what I used to use like thinking of streams to do, editing videos, like actually streaming. All that time was sucked away, and now I have like a lot less time to work with, and I've never been good with time management. So I allowed streaming and making videos and stuff to slide, and I kind of got stuck in the process of just like not pushing myself to continue doing things I love to do, which is this. I love doing this. But I allowed myself to like, take a break, but that break turned into months, or, weeks, then months. And now it's been a full year of just not really doing anything. And it got me very depressed as well, not keeping up with my hobbies, and it just made everything worse. But recently, over the summer, so the past couple months, I've been thinking a lot about it. And I've been thinking a lot about like why I feel as though I lost motivation, and realizing that I didn't entirely lose all my motivation. It's just my motivations have shifted. I still have a love for doing this, but it's just I have a different motivation for doing it, I guess. And it's not like my motivations changed from not wanting to make money to I just want to make money now. It's not like that either. And we'll get to that. But I realized it was just my mindset's changed. I've grown up. I've changed a lot over the course of me streaming. And Darabot, you know this. Luke Lee, you've probably seen it too every once in a while when you stopped in. Like from when I first started streaming, I was 19. I'm 22 now, right? A lot of stuff happens in that age range. Luke Lee, I'm sure you can testify to this. A lot happens in your early 20s in general. Like that's when you're finding like who you are. You're solidifying your views, your stances, all your like hobbies, what you want to do with your life. All that stuff is like solidifying in your 20s, right? And I've been changing a lot while also continuing to stream. So like it's just I've developed. So of course like my motivations are going to be different than when I first started streaming. And I want to say, I'll just say now, I've completely lost a huge chunk of my original motivation for why I started streaming. That motivation is escapism. But now I'm in a much better place, and I don't need that escapism. And that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about. I still have my other motivations of just like wanting to have fun, wanting to relax, wanting to give you guys a place for your own escapism, and like just having a nice lighthearted stream, and also just doing whatever I want to do. You know what I mean? Having my little corner of the internet, as I usually say, that motivation is still there. So we're going to go back. Okay. We're going to go back in time to before I was even streaming. Okay, before I started streaming. I will be talking about a little bit about religion, fair warning. It shapes very heavily who I am. So I can't talk about who I am without covering my religion or my cultural upbringing. I'm not religious anymore. So some of you might know this. Some of you might not. I grew up Mormon, okay? I grew up as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormon. That was my upbringing. It was a very, I grew up in northern Utah, so like the heart of the Mormon church. So when I say Mormon, when I say the church or whatever, I'm referring to the LDS church. But I grew up in that kind of environment, in the very orthodox environment, very cookie cutter. If you've ever met someone from Utah, if you've ever lived in Utah, you know how it is. Grew up with like very loving parents, grew up with 3 siblings, didn't grow up with like any problems. You know, my parents, they were good parents. The church was a very heavy influence on how we were raised. And many people in Mormonism in Utah, they have like a very shared experience of how to be raised. You're raised like going to church, obviously. You're raised going to primary, going to young men's, young women's, going to youth camps, you know, going to like general conference, all these things. The side effect of Mormonism, at least how I see it, is it's a very strict religion. It's a high demand religion. Some people call it a cult. I can see why people say that. But I just see it as more of a high demand religion. It has a very strong center of control that it exerts on its members, and then, you know, it just kind of falls down through the tree. I became non-active or inactive more when I was about 18, leaving high school. You're supposed to go on a thing called a mission, which is serving 2 years. You pay to serve 2 years for the church to go and do marketing, basically going out and trying to get people to join the church. And I did not want to do that. As much as I liked being in this cultural bubble in Utah that I was in, I had a strong sense of community and all this stuff. I didn't want to actually go and do a lot of church activities. And I especially didn't want to go spend 2 years of my life out on a mission. So I began to, as members would put it, fall away from the church. I just chose not to go. And when I left to college, right after high school, still 18, I went to Utah State for a little bit. And I just stopped going entirely to church. And that was a very low point in my life. If you guys have ever dealt with like leaving a high demand religion, it's it becomes you, it becomes your personality, it becomes your thoughts, it becomes your actions. Everything you do revolves around and like reports back to the religion. And that's kind of what my life was. Even though mentally I was kind of checked out, I still had the subconscious programming of like all this guilt from like sinning, not going to church, not paying tithing and all that stuff. It was still controlling my life. Needless to say, even though I wasn't going, it was still very much in control of like how I was functioning as a person. And there's good things that come from the church as well. It teaches you to be like productive. It teaches you to, you know, always be doing stuff, which can be a good and a bad thing, but it teaches you to be industrious, which is something I've gotten from the church, which is good. So basically I'm in college and I'm trying to detach at this point, not deprogram, but just detach from the church, being like, I'm nothing against it. I just don't want to be part of it. While I'm dealing with that, I get like super depressed, very like wrapped up in my own head. And I had one form of like freedom in my mind that I could use. And at the time it was still YouTube. is when I was posting my last few videos that I did on CNC cooking. If you guys have watched that, that's while I was still at college. But things got so bad that even after that first semester of college, actually being like moved out of my parents' home, I was not at all in a good enough mindset to continue. So I moved back with my parents because things were getting so rough. I stopped posting on the CNC cooking channel shortly after that, and I haven't posted on there since. But turned 19 soon after that. I still had all this guilt and shame built up in my head. And now that I moved back with my family, I also have my family. They were doing it out of love or whatever. I don't blame them really for it. It's just how they've been grown up to think, and all that stuff. But they were adding to the guilt and shame, constantly filling up my head with all these like not good thoughts about myself, because I didn't want to be in the church. It was still really bad, but I still had a motivation to do something, to create something, to make people, to improve people's day, which are all values I got from growing up as a Mormon. But my way of doing that was making videos, right? I didn't want to do the cooking channel anymore. I wanted to do something different. And the thing I wanted to do was streaming. So this is like in January of 2022, right? I'm setting up my streaming channel. And in my head at the time, it was just like, okay, I just want to do this because I want to make people happy. This is how I can do it. I want to do it. Not realizing at the time it was also because I needed an escape from the circumstances I was in, basically the environment I was in. It wasn't a very good emotionally supportive environment at all. But I began streaming in March of 2022. I got my channel set up. My first stream, Stardew Valley. No one really stopped by my first stream. But that was okay. I understood that. Like it's all fine. I'm just having fun being here. I was super shy. I was hiding my face like up to here. I was completely hiding my face because I didn't want people to think anything bad about how I looked. It was my first time showing my face on camera. Actually, was me streaming. Granted, I had like a freaking neck beard, so it was awful. But it was my first time showing my face, and it was very scary, all that stuff, but it felt very good, right? It felt really good to have this space where I could just like go live and not have to think about what was going on around me, not have to think about the guilt and shame and like my own depression, everything I was like fighting with inside my head. All of that would go away when I would go live, because then the only thing I have to think about is like, this is my safe space. This is my space. Nothing is going to hurt me here. I can just have fun and hope other people will join and have fun as well, which I was lucky enough to have that happen. My second stream, I believe is my second, maybe my third stream. I had some people come by. They're not in the community anymore. They helped me get comfortable with streaming. Some shatters, and had a really good time streaming, and that only strengthened my feelings towards streaming, and that this was like right for me. It was good for me. Something I didn't want to stop doing. Like I found the thing that I love doing, and I want to keep doing it. And that was all in the first year of me streaming. In 2023, that's when I started to change what I streamed more. I got more comfy. This one's a lot more foggy. 2023 is pretty foggy compared to 2024, honestly, like last year. That's when I tested out more variety content, more just doing whatever I want to do. I was doing that originally, but I was still very attached to just doing Stardew, trying to do something safe. I guess I need to touch on that a little more. My, how do I say this? My parents, I've always said, like when I first started streaming up until when I moved out, They would always say that they were supportive of my streaming because they allowed me to use the internet to stream, which is true. My parents like supported me materially, I guess. But off stream, I was being, I don't know if I want to say straight up emotionally abused, but emotionally neglected for sure. And in some instances, I'm sure abuse, but at least neglect, and that I experienced for years while I was streaming. That you guys just, I never told you guys about. It was very much every day, every stream, any chance they got, they would tell me I need to stop streaming. I need to stop doing it. My parents or my dad would routinely come in to my stream and watch to criticize me after the stream was done. So every time I was live, I always had the thought in the back of my head, even though it was a safe space, it can still be made less safe. You know what I mean? And he would always be there. And in the back of my head, I would always know that he was there. So I wasn't able to fully be myself on stream for the first couple of years that I was streaming. I'm able to be myself fully now, both because I've recognized like who I am more, but I also don't have that looming fear over me anymore, which I'm sure you guys have noticed. As I've gotten more comfortable with myself and everything, and gotten more independent, I've gotten a lot more relaxed and everything on stream. But yes, I routinely would experience that I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm not good at streaming. No one's even watching. All these kind of things being like verbally told to me, which was not great when I'm already, in a depressive state and already telling these things to myself in my head. Hearing them out loud was not super fun. But it only encouraged me to keep going back to my safe space, because that's really all I had, which is like here. It was you guys. It was just streaming in general online. And I continued streaming, and up until 2023 and 2024. That's when I moved out last year, in June of 2024. I moved out. There's a couple things going on before that. I started dating Isa. Obviously we were dating before we moved out, but we had plans for me to move out with her as just friends before we ended up starting dating a few months prior. But the reason for me moving out is because things were still escalating behind the scenes, I want to say. And without getting into too many details about it, at the beginning of 2024, and this happened a couple times before as well, my own parents would get so upset with me because I was carving my own path. And I want to say they're trying to do their best. They still love me and all that stuff. It's just because of like how the church has taught them to think and everything their whole lives. It's caused them to act in certain ways, which has only furthered my leaving of the church. They would see me as a corrupted person, that I was throwing my life away. And this is them telling me this. I was throwing my life away. I was corrupted. I was, in some instances, possessed. I was possessed by the devil, that I was a demon myself. Being told this by my own parents was not a fun experience at all. It caused me not to go on family trips with them. and stuff. But I was being told this, and it only escalated more and more, and it would escalate to physical confrontations with my own parents. And you guys probably know me. I'm not someone to get physical. I don't like to get physical. I will argue. I'm a very stubborn-headed person, but I don't like to get physical. I don't like harming people. It makes me sick to do it. 2 or 3 times I've gotten physical as like a young kid with like my brother type thing. When I feel like brothers usually play fight a lot more than that. It happened in like 2023. There was a physical thing that happened, a fight between me and my dad, but in 2024 it happened again. Ended up getting he was my parents really mad with me. They cornered me in the kitchen. We were arguing about me streaming, me not going to church because I don't want to go to church, all these kind of things, right? As a 21-year-old person, they're having this conversation with me, but it turns into yelling, and I try to get past them to go to my room, right? To go and stream, go like do something else, play a game, just be in my room instead, right? Try to go past, get blocked by my dad. He began like shoving me, pushing me to get me out of the way. So I was trying to shove him back so I could get past him, right? And things got physical more after that. Ended up with me getting thrown to the ground on the hardwood kitchen floor. It was in the kitchen. Thrown to the ground and pinned by my dad. It hurt. I got bruises all over. Not a good situation. There was a really bad conversation happening as well. It involves my one of my siblings, and I just don't want to talk about that. But they had some nasty thoughts and delusions, so that they were thinking about regarding my sister, and it was sickening, and I told them as such. But anyways, that happened. I was down on the ground trying to get my dad off of me, and my mom even came in because I told him, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna call the cops or something on you guys. I don't know what to do. Like, this is getting out of hand. And my mom was saying no, she was gonna call the cops. She started recording it, so she has the recording somewhere of it. She even came in and like stood on my hand as well, like put her whole body's force on my hand, on my wrist, to hold me down too. All that happened, and that was the last straw for me. Both what they were thinking. They were accusing me of being like a this part I will talk about because it's keeping me out of it's not keeping me out, it's keeping my sister out of this. But they thought I was a pet. They thought I was going to be a rape, and they thought I was going to be incest, okay, as well. And all of this because I didn't go to church anymore. And my dad was like, well, you're showing signs of that kind of stuff because I don't go to church. It escalated that badly. It was absolute insanity. I was like, this is not an environment I want to be in. My relationship with you guys is being completely smothered by like these delusions that are going on. I'm leaving, right? So I move out. And that was the reason for me moving out. And Isa, we were friends. We were good friends for like a year at that point. When we were talking about moving out, we ended up starting dating as well. And so we move out as a couple and all that, right? So I get out of that environment. This was, again, June 2024. So that's the backstory stuff. I might elaborate more about that, randomly, but not good stuff. And I have this hard swap of moving from a very hot and cold relationship, both with growing up, where it's just like you get super high praise from being very worthy and participatory, and is that the right word? Participatory? Yeah. Participating in the church and all that stuff, and the really cold contrast of hate and social isolation and loss of self and everything that you don't have anymore when you leave the church. And I was going off of that isolation of trying to be my own person, but not knowing who I am because I took out the church, which became my whole life. All that was removed. I didn't have a good relationship with my own parents anymore. All that stuff was happening. And then you heavily contrast that with moving out and into a unconditional love environment with a partner. It's extremely shocking, and it's hard to like grasp it, like how much of a good change it was for my life. I was able to actually like explore myself in this new environment with Isa. I went from only having a safe space for a couple of hours with streaming to having a safe space all the time, which was amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Absolutely incredible. I can't describe like how, speaking of which, Isa's here now. I summoned her. It's really hard to describe like how positive of a change it was. Being in this new environment, I continued streaming, as you guys know, in 2024. So moved out in June. We had everything settled around like August. And then that's also when I was practicing for the marathon. We did the marathon in September, all the streaming in October of 2024. Anyway, so I'm in this new environment now. So since June 2024, I've been in a true unconditional love environment that I haven't experienced in my whole life. And I was experiencing it for the first time there. Fantastic. I was able to like creatively do whatever I want without fear, and like also just being myself without fear. And this is when I got like really comfortable with streaming. And I feel like that's when I started doing the best, both with YouTube, with streaming, my self-esteem, everything was the best, and has been the best because of that. This begs the question of like, well, why did you get burnout then? Why did you get depressed after October of that year? And that's the question I had for pretty much this whole past year. And I figured it out recently in the last couple months of why I was feeling depressed and feeling as though I lost something, even though I've only like gained a stronger sense of myself after having it all kind of ripped away after leaving the church. And that reason I found came after I confronted more of what I was experiencing prior to moving out, confronting like those emotions, confronting those thoughts, and as well as learning more about the church and like how I wasn't alone in experiencing what I was experiencing due to an environment with a strong high demand religion, and trying to leave that. I wasn't alone in that experience like I thought I was. So I was able to, these last few months, actually like confront where I stand with the church and everything. And it's been very therapeutic in that sense, learning that it's okay that I'm not religious and stuff anymore. And I don't need to have religious guilt. I don't need to have guilt over not having certain values or morals that the church has, but I have my own values and morals, which I think are more virtuous than my religion could ever have in terms of their values. So I came to recognition with that. And then shortly after that, more like this past month, honestly, especially in the past couple weeks, I've been able to also come to the realization that I didn't truly lose my motivation like I thought I did. I didn't completely lose my motivation to stream. I didn't lose my motivation for making videos like I was telling myself that I had. What I did lose was just my one of my fueling motivators. I didn't lose all of it. I lost just a major motivator that I had for almost 3 years at that point of me streaming. And that motivator was, like I said at the beginning, it was the escapism, the being able to be in an environment that I built that was safe for me and I knew was safe for me and safe for others that were like me. Being able to tell people they weren't alone, being able to basically provide an environment that I wish I had. I've said it before, I've always tried to just make an environment that I wish I had growing up. That's what motivates me to do what I do. That's one of the motivators. So what I realized is I didn't need that escapism anymore. That was my main motivator for so many years. But my motivator currently is everything else that I still had. And I didn't realize I still had all of that because I was letting the loss of this other motivation and that feeling of losing that, associating that with a negative feeling and letting that negative feeling overcome everything else. But now that since I've, accepted that, realized that negative emotion's there, I can manage it and realize that there's a lot of positivity still there. I.e. there's a lot of good motivators that are still here. I don't need the escapism. Maybe someone else might need the escapism, There's the motivators of just wanting to make people happy. I enjoy making people happy. And that is a motivator as well. There's the motivator of just, I want a creative outlet type thing. This is how I express my creativity. This is how I can put my thoughts together with like scripts and stuff, make fun videos and while I'm gaming, all that kind of stuff. That's another motivator. Like there's so many other things that I love about streaming, that I love about making videos that are still here that I recognize and that I want to use going forward to keep doing this kind of thing. So I'm not quitting. Sorry to say, I'm not quitting. I'm not leaving. I don't want to leave. I love this too much. I love doing this kind of thing too much, and to quit at this point in my life. Yes, I've grown and everything. I've changed a lot as a person, but that just means that my channel will grow and will change with me. It's a very, beautiful thing. So I do want to take a more active role is what I'm trying to say. I want to get back into thinking more about what I'm doing on streams, take a more active role and more active approach and making this a fun environment again, like it was last year type thing. I really enjoyed how things were last year, but I do recognize that I do get burnout as well. So we're all done with all the backstory stuff. We're up to current day, right? We know what my motivations are now, all that good stuff, right? We've done away with all the negative emotions, all the negative experiences in the past, all that stuff. It's gone, right? I've dealt with it. There's no need to think about it anymore. But going forward, to avoid burnout, I do need to change up a couple things, I think. So, and this is just going into what we're going to be gearing this channel towards, what we're going to be gearing the YouTube channel towards, and potentially a new YouTube channel as well, to keep everything like split up, I guess, and organized a little bit better for me. And this might change as time goes on, but currently, as it stands for my streaming schedule here, due to me working a night shift, I don't want to stream really late at night. That's the time Isa and I have together. I will only be streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the afternoons / mornings, kind of. It's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, around there. What I stream on those days will be just whatever I feel like. I won't be like trying to make YouTube videos all the time when I'm streaming and all that. I want to keep it separate. So then you guys here on stream are more engaged. I'm more engaged with everything happening on stream. We can just chill, have a way more fun time, not worrying about like recording. And then I'll make YouTube videos separately on the in-between days. I can record whatever I want. I can play whatever games I want, practice whatever I'm doing there. And we'll get to the YouTube stuff in a second. And then on weekends, I also want to stream. So on Saturdays and Sundays, I want to stream on both of those days. Those ones might be more later in the day. This is the schedule for October as well. So I won't be streaming every day in October like I did last year. I don't want to get burnt out again. I really don't. I understand that it's good for like growth or whatever to be posting like every day, but it wasn't good for my mental health. And I think you guys here on stream and especially on YouTube will appreciate me posting a little bit slower, but posting throughout the whole year rather than me just being an October YouTuber and streamer and going silent the rest of the year practically. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but you guys can let me know. But yeah, in terms of someone streaming, it's just we chill, we do what we want here. It's not a big deal. In terms of the YouTube channel, I want to start doing 100%. I have the 100% that I've been sitting on for a while for Secret of the Mimic. I want to make a video on that. I like doing scripted videos that take a little bit more effort on YouTube, meaning I will post the 100% a lot slower. They won't be super often, but I will be posting those. And in between those, I will be posting just quick little games and stuff like I have been doing on the YouTube channel. That's my idea for that. And then there's another YouTube channel I want to start. Haven't thought of a name for it yet. I'll probably post a video on YouTube for it when I do make it. It'll be more of a commentary style one. So it'll be a spot for just more random thoughts and like random stuff I'm seeing on the internet and all that. Just basic SlopTuber stuff. I'll have a separate YouTube channel for that. So it's not mixing in with the gaming channel. So I'll have all those 3 channels separate, the Twitch and 2 YouTube ones. I think it'll be pretty fun to try. We'll see how everything goes. I know I'm saying I don't want to get burnt out, and then I'm just saying all this stuff I want to do. I haven't figured out a solid schedule with the YouTube videos, but all I'm asking is that you guys bear with me, and we'll all figure it out as we go. Yeah, I just figured I'd put my heart out there for you guys, so you know what's going on, what's going on in my head, and that I'm still here. I'm here for you guys, of course. I'm here for myself, for my own enjoyment, because this is fun for me. And yeah, I hope you guys are as excited as I am to try some new stuff. See how it all goes. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to start working on the Mimic video. Keep an eye out for October when I start posting for the spooky games that we start playing. Alrighty. Love you all. Bye-bye. 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 Bye-bye.